No one should have to, fear for their life going to a political rally, something that is uniquely American. But these people have experienced the horror of someone opening fire on the crowd, and a former president who was, of course, the headliner at this rally tonight. As we've been reporting, one spectator is dead, another is in critical condition. The shooter, this all according to the Butler County DA, the shooter is also deceased. Our senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us again. Kelly, you have a new statement from President Biden.
That's correct, Lester. This is from President Biden, who is in Rehoboth, and he talks about this incident. He begins by saying, "I've been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it." The words of Joe Biden after learning about this incident involving his predecessor and his current rival in the political environment of this 2024 campaign. The president has been briefed by top officials. He has been talking with Homeland Security officials, and he is at his home in Rehoboth, Delaware, where he has a full complement of the things needed for the office, where he can get the income streams of all the relevant information. This first statement coming from President Biden, I would not be at all surprised if we don't hear more from him tonight as new developments take place. Lester?
All right, Kelly, thank you for that. Terry Schultz is with the Butler County, Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office and was at the rally. She is still there and joins me on the phone. Terry, first of all, if you can just walk us through what you saw, where you were in this crowd.
You know what? We didn't have VIP seats. We were a few rows back, enough that we could, see the former president, and then we were all standing there watching the jumbotrons they had put him on. And the next thing we did was we hear 3 shots. I see kind of his head, the former president's head, go sideways. You can see kind of like, blood. And at that point, I wasn't looking at anything. I was with some friends. They were like, "You need to get down. Everybody get down." The people around me, there were some young people crying. And to be honest with you, at the time this happened, I wasn't even sure they were gunshots. But then we heard like 3 or 4 shots, and then we heard shots kind of returned. A friend of mine videotaped that, and we just watched that, and that's what we saw and what we heard. From your vantage point, were you able to see where the shots were coming from? Was it obvious? It was not, but you could hear them, and as soon as you heard the shots, your head turned towards the left. We have a route that runs outside the Butler Farm Show, Route 68, and it sounded like the shots were coming from out there near the field to the left-hand side of where we were. So it certainly was scary.
We look at the videotape, and it appears some people didn't quite realize what was happening at the moment. Were you one of them who was not quite sure what you were witnessing?
A couple of months old, and if you want to really see something,
absolutely. And again, until I was with some friends, and my girlfriend is like, "You have to get down." People around us were pulling us down and saying, "You have to get down." So I can tell you that it was chaos at the time.
Have you been to one of these rallies before?
I have not. It was my first time at a rally, and I was certainly excited, to go to one. We had so many people there. But I can tell you the chaos that this created. Everyone was scared. You see the former president and what's happening, and and then when I ascertained what had happened from my Pennsylvania State Police friends, it was very scary. But it was my understanding that they got the shooter. But that really doesn't make a difference because it was just scary.
Yeah, that's our understanding is the shooter is deceased, and again, one of the spectators as well, and one critically hurt a spectator, and the former president is going to be okay. But you bring up a point I think we will all be talking about, and that is, of course, we don't know what the motivation was for this, but it certainly comes at a time that we are all keenly aware of the deep divisions and the risk of political violence. Is it something you even thought about as you set out to attend this rally tonight?
To be honest with you, no, not at all. I guess I know that there's political unrest in the country. But in no way did I think that this would happen. And what concerns me more is it's not only political, but, there are innocent people here. And look what happened. And it should just never happen in our country. It really should not.
Your point is certainly well taken. I know you're with the DA's office there. Do you have any special insight into how the investigation is proceeding?
Well, I know that I'm seeing a lot of news trucks around here. I know that there were tons of Secret Service here. And again, I guess for me, I just question how somebody got through security, or where this person was in a field that somebody wasn't looking after them. And I guess that's just me and from my perspective of what I do.
Yeah. All right, Terry, thank you very much as we continue to look at some of the pictures of the aftermath. We've shown you some of the still photos as well of people crouched down for safety, not sure at that moment where the threat was coming from. I want to tell you we are hearing that we will hear from the president. We read his statement a few minutes ago. We will hear from President Biden at some point this evening. We don't have a firm time on that, but we'll keep you honest and let you know when we know more about that. In the meantime, let me bring in our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. Hallie, we're all shocked and certainly saddened over the loss of life here and the injuries, and we're certainly grateful that the former president is okay. But this is going to be a very tough conversation in the weeks coming forward, one we've had on different levels before. Share your thoughts, if you would.
Yeah, and none of it, of course, taking away, Lester, from, as you described, the urgency and frankly, the devastation of this moment, given what we have now learned about what has happened at this rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. I can tell you that our team here at NBC News is out to a myriad of campaign sources close to former President Trump. And obviously the latest that we've heard, and you've been reporting this, is that he is okay. He is, in the words of a spokesperson, fine and being looked at. We are seeking more information. I can also tell you that based on a message to staff obtained by our colleagues here at NBC, Alan Smith and Matt Dixon, a top campaign official is telling staff members that everything is okay, that we have no details to share at this time, but saying they'll follow up soon with more information. They are directing staff members to not speak with members of the media. They want what they describe as a total lockdown here. They add that your personal safety is of the utmost importance here, to pray, remain vigilant, and be strong. That is the messaging now, according to NBC News, that Trump campaign staff members are getting from the top, as there is just, it is always, of course, it is chaotic in the moments after something like this happens. And it's also, I think, another reason to be extraordinarily careful in what and how we report what we know has occurred here in what is just a historic day here in the United States, Lester. Yeah,
and then, of course, Hallie, we are here on the weekend before the Republican National Convention. Obviously, there will be some changes. We don't know what is in effect, but we're hitting primetime campaign season now.
Yeah, we sure are, right? And this is a moment where everybody begins to pay attention, especially considering the start of the convention. I mean, think about it, Lester, not looking at the time here just after 8 o'clock Eastern, not maybe 3+ hours ago. The biggest story that I think most campaign reporters were chasing was who would Donald Trump pick to be his running mate. That was sort of much of the attention here on this rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The conversation has clearly and necessarily changed very dramatically since then. I think one of the questions moving forward is going to be the movements of former President Trump. How long is he going to remain at the medical facility where he's at now? Where will he head after that? Does he still plan to be at the Republican National national convention starting on Monday. Obviously, that kicks off in Milwaukee with the expectation that at some point between now and of course, next week, he would announce his vice presidential pick. That is obviously taking a back seat to the immediate question of his own health and safety, as he is the presumptive Republican nominee here. And we are going to try to get some answers to those questions just as soon as we can, Lester.
All right.